Frieren Beyond Journey's End features some of the best demon portrayals in anime and media over recent years. In this video, I'm going to discuss all the notable demons presented to us throughout the story so far, covering their background, powers, and current status. While you might be eager to learn more about the Sages of Destruction, there are many more interesting demons to explore. Don't worry, I got you covered. As you can imagine, this video is going to be including massive spoilers. With that out of the way, let's get started. Demons are articulate beings, continuously embroiled in conflict with other races. They are naturally inclined toward magic, devoting their lives to perfecting a chosen discipline. Their individualistic nature abstains from familial bonds, yet they collaborate minimally to oppose humanity. Their society is a visible hierarchy of strength, determined by mana levels, which to them symbolize status and dignity, hence their reluctance to conceal it as much as possible. Resembling humans but with distinctive horns, demons use their articulate nature to deceive, lacking a genuine grasp of language and human emotions, which often leads to their underestimation of humanity. Despite their predatory instincts and lack of empathy or pleasure from killing humans, demons persist in this behavior as a matter of tradition rather than emotion. Even attempts to understand human emotions involve cruel experiments on human subjects. They have evolved from creatures that mimicked human speech to lure and prey, a trait that has become integral to their deceptive nature. Specializing intensely in one type of magic, they often overlook the broader potential of their spells, as seen when Lugner failed to recognize an archaic spell of demonic origin. Flight magic comes naturally to demons, unlike humans who have only recently begun to understand it. In terms of emotions, demons are devoid of them, a stark contrast to the muted feelings of long-lived elves. Demons typically enjoy lifespans spanning centuries, with figures like Aura living for over 500 years and the Demon King existing for over a millennium. They broadly fall into two categories: traditional mages and warriors who use magic enhancement to augment their physical prowess, with the most powerful among them rivaling the strength of renowned warriors like Aizen. Demon societies' power dynamics, driven by magical ability, necessitate the overt display of mana, with those like Aura ascending to leadership roles. This openness about mana levels, however, leaves them susceptible to deception by those who choose to conceal their own. Unlike the typical portrayal of chaotic evil beings in fantasy, demons display sociopathy as an innate racial trait, originating from natural predators rather than being born of infernal origins. They are offended by mages like Frieren and Fern who hide their mana, a contradiction to their societal norms where mana equates to identity. Despite this, they engage in widespread violence and trickery without hesitation. Showing no mercy, demons will kill children, exploiting the protective instincts of human warriors, which in turn forces humans into the grim necessity of defending themselves against even the youngest of demons. Qual, the Elder Sage of Corruption. Qual, known as the Elder Sage of Corruption, is an infamous demon recognized for his power, strength, and intelligence. His name, derived from the German language, evokes notions of torment, agony, or torture, fitting for a being of his fearsome nature. He is the creator of Zaltrak, a potent killing spell, which he unleashed to devastating effect in the Gross Forest during the Demon King's reign, causing the deaths of approximately 40% of adventurers and 70% of sorcerers in the region. His dominance was such that the hero party resorted to sealing him away as a last resort during the war against the Demon King. 80 years after his sealing, Qual was released by Frieren, responding not with rage but with a composed greeting, showing a nonchalant yet implied loyalty to the Demon King by vowing to avenge his defeat. Surprised by Frieren and Fern's ability to block his Zaltrak, Qual's analytical prowess quickly became apparent as he dissected the mechanics of their defensive magic to counterattack effectively. In the time of Qual's confinement, his Zaltrak spell became a subject of intense study by sorcerers across the continent, leading to the development of countermeasures against it. Frieren's significant contributions to this research helped integrate Zaltrak into the modern human magic system, where it became a standard for offensive and defensive magic. Despite Qual's relentless refinement of his spell, turning it into an ultimate killing spell, he failed to realize that humanity had adapted, rendering his once invincible magic into what was now seen as ordinary attack magic. Qual, impressed rather than angered by humanity's ingenuity in reverse engineering his spell, a reaction uncharacteristic of demons, failed to recognize the advancements in defensive techniques against his magic. Ultimately, his lack of knowledge in these developments led to his downfall, as Frieren used his own spell to end his life. This demise underscores a certain irony in Qual's tale. A demon whose once feared magic had been demystified and overcome by the very race he once decimated. Draht. Draht was a demon who served under Aura the Guillotine. Along with Lugner and Linie, he infiltrated Graf Granat's domain, posing as an envoy of peace from Lady Aura. Draht was extremely confident in his magic, to the extent that he directly challenged Frieren. His approach was reckless and showed his inexperience, as he chose to target Frieren immediately rather than support Lugner's deceptive efforts. Compared to Linie and Lugner, Draht's sensory abilities were weaker. He failed to recognize the threat posed by Frieren. His impulsive actions contributed to the breakdown of the peace talks, enabling Frieren to take decisive action against Aura's forces, including Aura herself. Draht's name, meaning wire in German, aptly describes his weapon of choice. He wielded magical razor-sharp wires capable of easily beheading a fully armored soldier. He boasted that it was one of the strongest spells known to demons. Frieren acknowledged the wire's potency, admitting her inability to counter it directly, though she could simply tear off his arm. Informed by Lugner that Frieren was the primary threat in town, Draht sought to eliminate her in her prison. However, this confrontation quickly resulted in his own demise. Linie. Linie was a demon working under Aura. She was dispatched to assist Lugner and Draht in conducting negotiations with Graf Granat, as per Aura's instructions. Despite her seemingly harmless appearance, Linie was a formidable opponent in combat. Utilizing her magic, she could fight against Stark, employing the powerful techniques she had copied. Linie is good at sensing and reading mana. However, her skills were insufficient against a stealth expert like Frieren. She was born before the hero party defeated the Demon King. During one of their battles, she observed Aizen, analyzing his mana and actions, which allowed her to mimic his fighting style. Linie had the ability to summon any weapon she desired, depending on the fighting style she wanted to imitate. Using her spell or fasten, Linie could read mana and replicate the techniques and movements of her opponents, even memorizing them. Thus, she fought by turning her adversaries' techniques against them. Like all demons, Linie lacked the capacity for human emotions. She demonstrated loyalty to both Lord Lugner and Aura the Guillotine, rarely speaking or acting out of line, except in response to threats, unlike her counterpart Draht. Confident in her abilities, Linie failed to recognize the potential threats posed by enemies, ultimately leading to her downfall. Despite her prowess in mimicking others' fighting styles, Linie could not replicate the physical strength required to execute them perfectly. For example, Stark noted that if she had Aizen's strength when she attacked him, he would have been fatally injured from her first strike. Instead, she only managed a flesh wound. Stark ultimately defeated Linie by luring her into an attack he could withstand, leaving her vulnerable. He then swiftly eliminated her by slicing her in half from the shoulder down. Lugner. Lugner, a demon serving under Aura the Guillotine, infiltrated Graf Granat's domain under the guise of a peace envoy from Lady Aura. His true objective was to coerce Graf Granat into lowering the city's defenses. As Aura's right-hand man, Lugner was charged with critical missions such as negotiations, commanding two other demons in their endeavor. His name, Lugner, aptly translates to liar in German, a testament to his deceptive nature and his agreement with Frieren that demons wield human language as a tool for manipulation. Though he initially portrays himself as laid-back and empathetic, even feigning understanding of Graf Granat's grief for his deceased son, it's a calculated act. Priding himself on his magic and mana, Lugner becomes incensed when he encounters Frieren and Frieren's tactic of mana suppression, which he views with contempt. His ability to mimic human emotions serves him well in his goals, manipulating those around him with ease. Lugner's magical prowess extends to manipulating his own blood, using it for offense, defense, and even to track his enemies. His signature spell, Baltiri, employs tendrils of blood to ensnare or defend against his adversaries. Despite his disdain for prodigious mages like Frieren and Flam, Lugner's arrogance is his undoing. In combat, he decided not to kill Frieren outright, claiming a missed attack to prolong her suffering, unaware that she had already seen his desire for revenge. His underestimation of Frieren and Stark's capabilities only changes when he realizes the threat they pose due to Friern's speed and power. Lugner's astuteness and observation skills surpass those of Aura. He recognizes Frieren and Frieren's suppressed mana, detects the specific tuning of Frieren's spells against demons, and is wary of Aura's chances against Frieren, insights that Aura dismisses until the very end, not even believing Frieren when said outright. Although Aura is the central villain of her narrative arc, Lugner stands out as the operative antagonist due to his direct confrontations with Frieren's party and his significant presence. In contrast, Aura's defeat is swift, outmaneuvered by Frieren, who turns her own magic against her. Lugner's presence and actions throughout the arc underscore his critical role in the threat he poses, right up to his calculated demise. Aura the Guillotine. Aura was a member of the Seven Sages of Destruction. Over 500 years ago, she rose to the rank of Sage of Destruction, amassing an army through the subjugation of others with her magic, Ozerles. Known as Aura the Guillotine, she earned her moniker for decapitating those under her control, a tactic adopted to counter those with strong wills who could resist her magic. Following a strategic retreat from a battle against the hero party and in the wake of the Demon King's defeat, Aura remained in hiding until after Himmel's demise. Resurfacing after years of seclusion, Aura instigated a war to capture Graf Granat's domain in the Northern Lands, a campaign marked by prolonged conflict and the death of Graf Granat's son. 2 decades later, under the guise of seeking peace, Aura dispatched 3 executioners to negotiate with Graf Granat, intending to lower his defenses and gain unrestricted access to his domain. Aura, embodying typical demonic traits, is articulate and individualistic, devoid of empathy. Her indifference to her subordinates' fates reflects a confidence in her magical prowess and a penchant for engaging in battles she believes she can win. Nonetheless, she exhibits a cautious side, choosing to avoid direct confrontation with adversaries like the hero party, a decision that likely played a part in her survival after the Demon King's defeat. Her signature ability, Ozerles, or the Scale of Obedience, manifests as a scale measuring the mana of her own soul against that of her target. Should Aura possess more mana, she gains complete control over her adversary's body. However, this control is not absolute, as those with Indomitable will can break free, albeit momentarily. To prevent such occurrences, Aura resorts to beheading those she subdues. This powerful magic, while formidable, poses significant risks to Aura, as a misjudgment in her opponent's mana could lead to her own undoing. Aura's downfall was precipitated by her inability to comprehend a mage like Frieren, who deliberately suppressed her mana as a deceptive tactic, ultimately falling victim to her own magic. Frieren's dismantling of Aura's puppets, through a complex dispel magic, took Aura by surprise and highlighted her carelessness and overconfidence. Aura's name, translating to air or soul in Latin, aptly reflects her manipulation of soul-related magic. As the Guillotine, she fittingly designated her officers as executioners, underscoring her ruthlessness. Throne, the Basalt. Throne is a general in the Demon King's army. Although he was already dead when first shown, his impact on the world cannot be dismissed. He led the demon forces to Frieren's village, destroying it and killing all of the inhabitants, with Frieren being the only survivor. This village might well be the final elf village in existence, as even Frieren and Kraft thought that the elven race had died off before they met each other. Throne may also be the very first great demon that Frieren ever defeated. Divine Revolte. Divine Revolte, a demon general renowned for his sword skills, leads a quartet of demons terrorizing villages across the northern plateau. Frieren's party, responding to a subjugation request, encounters him near a village he had recently raided. There, they meet first-class mages Jeannot and Method, who have arrived with the same objective. Revolte's combat style is marked by cunning and deceit. He excels in dividing his enemies, exploiting human emotions, particularly the instinct to protect children, to his advantage. This tactic previously led to the demise of Jeannot's former partner and nearly claimed Jeannot himself. Named Divine due to his magically created weapons being akin to the legendary Divine Cleaving Sword, Revolte possesses a unique physicality, with his lower half resembling a serpent and 4 arms, each wielding a sword. This unusual form contributed to his massacre of an elite knight garrison, as they were unprepared to defend against a 4-sword-wielding adversary. Revolte's lack of empathy, a common trait among demons, does not prevent him from using it for manipulation. He orchestrates scenarios to disorient and divide subjugation teams, such as leaving no survivors in a village massacre to compel some to guard the deceased. His insight into human psychology, particularly the protective instinct towards children, allows him to catch enemies off guard. The group Revolt leads, though small, demonstrates significant resistance against overwhelming human forces. This resistance persists until the intervention of Frieren's party and their collaboration with Jeannot and Method. Adding to his unpredictability, Revolt can manipulate the weight of his swords, rendering them paradoxically light or heavy, enhancing their lethality. Even after losing his swords, as Stark discovers, Revolt proves adept in using his hands as deadly weapons. Revolt's speed and strength are exceptional, as depicted in Chapter 76, where he continues to attack relentlessly despite being surrounded and wounded by Stark and Jeannot. However, he is not invincible. His swords can only retain their mana for a limited duration before becoming brittle and breaking under the continuous assault of his opponents. Immortal Bose. Bose, whose name in German translates to evil, bad, or sinister, rose to prominence as one of the 7 Sages of Destruction, earning the title the Immortal. However, the reason behind this title remains a mystery, given his eventual demise. He participated in a battle alongside the other Sages of Destruction in the Omniscient Schlacht against the Hero of the South. Bose managed to survive this encounter. Specializing in defensive barrier magic, Bose's barriers were deemed by Frieren as unbreakable by humankind. His magic involved enclosing spaces with barriers composed of square grids. Despite their strength, these barriers were not entirely immune to physical attacks and could be damaged by exceptionally strong heroes or warriors. During the hero party's 10-year journey, Bose engaged the party, trapping them with his barrier magic. Bose's downfall stemmed from his underestimation of the hero party. He focused solely on Frieren, who had managed to breach his barrier, disregarding the others as threats. This oversight allowed Himmel to launch a surprise attack from behind, ultimately leading to Bose's defeat. Macht of El Dorado. The most powerful of the Demon King's 7 Sages of Destruction is an anomaly within his race. Driven by curiosity about humans, he abandoned his post and pledged allegiance to Lord Gluck of Weiss. Despite his intent to understand humans, his methods were aggressive, leading him to transmute an entire city into gold. This act prompted the Continental Magic Association to seal him within a barrier, as his death would render the curse irreversible. Goals, Macht's signature spell and a curse, transforms any material object into gold and is considered the most potent curse known throughout the story, one that not even the magic of the goddess can dispel. This curse is undetectable as magic, making it almost impossible to defend against or avoid. The gold created by Goals is indestructible and cannot be altered. While identified as gold by magical means, it is fundamentally different from the natural element. Unlike most demons, Macht has the ability to use various types of human magic, which he learned during his time with Solitar, a researcher of human magic. His proficiency is such that he could train a highly successful Imperial mage. In his brief battle against Ciri, he demonstrated the use of human-developed defensive magic. Additionally, Macht is adept with Zaltrak, a killing or offensive magic spell he claims was created by an old friend. Macht's combat style exhibited a blend of ferocity and enjoyment. He relished the challenge of facing formidable opponents like Ciri and Denkin, his former student. His intrigue and human emotions, especially guilt and malice, drove his actions, leading him to engage in various activities to deepen his understanding. Macht's relationship with humans was complex. He shared an odd friendship with Gluck and served as a mentor to Denkin, teaching him magic, but also using these connections to explore his understanding of guilt. Despite his efforts, he never fully grasped these emotions, demonstrating a tragic inability to overcome his demonic nature. Ultimately, Macht's end came at the hands of Denkin, who exploited Macht's distraction to deliver a fatal blow. Macht's journey, marked by his struggle to understand humanity and his failure to overcome his demonic instincts, ended with him seeking solace beside Gluck. His demise was marked by a somber tone, with him expressing regret, reflecting on his failure to grasp human emotions like guilt and malice. This inability to empathize, inherent in demons, underscored his tragic attempt to transcend the inherently evil nature of his race, ultimately leading to his necessary elimination. Despite his monstrous deeds, including causing countless deaths and forcing people to fight to the death, Macht's earnest desire to coexist with humans was genuine, recognized even by Frieren. Honestly, Macht is one of my favorite characters in the entire series. He's up there with Himmel and Frieren. I can't wait for the time his story gets animated. Solitar, the Nameless Great Demon. Solitar is an eccentric greater demon who devotes her research to studying various living beings, particularly humans. Her status as largely unknown in the human world, without any given title, renders her a highly dangerous adversary. At one point, Macht sought Solitar's wisdom to understand the concepts of malice and guilt. Although she couldn't provide the answers he sought, she eventually traveled to the Golden Land to assist Macht in escaping his prison, and they ultimately joined forces to confront Frieren. Solitar once confessed to Macht in Chapter 94 that she had long been cowardly, fretful, fearful, and not wise enough to underestimate mankind. This admission alone highlights the threat she delivers, as it suggests she lacks the common weaknesses that have led to the downfall of many demons in the story, making her an exceptionally powerful and intimidating figure. In the hierarchy of demon society, Solitar is recognized as a greater demon, earning respect from other demons. However, no human has ever heard of her, which alarms Frieren, implying that Solitar might have eliminated any potential witnesses to her existence. Frieren assesses that Solitar's mana is on par with her own, and suggests that Solitar's power level is about similar to that of Macht, who is considered the strongest of the 7 Sages of Destruction. Solitar distinguishes herself even among demons with her extensive knowledge of human magic, accumulated over centuries. She can cast modern human defensive magic, and was able to analyze and dismantle the complex and nearly indestructible barrier of El Dorado, a feat achievable only due to her prolonged study of humans. Her anonymity, combined with her exceptional abilities, positions her as one of the most perilous demons in the story. Her mastery of mana control forms the basis of her abilities like Mana Strike and Mana Shield, enhancing her combat capabilities significantly. Frieren acknowledges that she cannot match Solitar in this aspect, describing her mana control as otherworldly. Solitar engages in combat while simultaneously conducting interviews, showcasing her eagerness to expand her understanding of humans and validate her theories. Her excitement is evident when she finds Frieren capable of harming her, or when she faces a formidable opponent like Frieren. Despite her attempts to portray herself to be friendly to strangers, both Frieren and Stark are not deceived by her facade. Solitar describes herself as a coward, preferring to remain hidden unless assured of her advantage in battle. Solitar is a demon counterpart of Frieren. They share similarities in build, both being solitary sorceresses who have lived hidden lives, are constantly eager to learn and study, and are intrigued by humanity. They are magic experts, displaying incredible finesse in controlling their mana and capable of breaking seemingly unbreakable barriers. However, while Frieren learns about humans through social interaction, Solitar is incompatible with humans and chooses not to coexist with them, instead experimenting on them to study their reactions. Solitar's curiosity has been a significant factor in developing her strength, but it also serves as her fatal flaw. Despite being a recluse who avoids potential losses in battle, her curiosity leads her to El Dorado to free Macht from his prison and observe the outcomes of his experiments. This same curiosity leads her to keep Stark and Frieren alive long enough to satisfy her interests, inadvertently saving them when Macht turns them into indestructible gold. Her tendency to talk excessively, rather than attacking Frieren immediately, gives Frieren enough time to analyze the Golden Land and cast a wide-range Dispel spell, ultimately allowing Frieren to kill Solitar with Zalt outside of her mana detection range. In her introduction, Solitar acts as a foil to Macht. While Macht is a broad-shouldered, imposing man, Solitar is a slender, petite woman. Both seek to understand humanity, but Solitar believes coexistence with humans is impossible. Their fighting styles also differ fundamentally. Macht's biggest threat initially is his powerful signature Dia-Gol spell, whereas Solitar is a versatile fighter with extensive knowledge of human magic. However, Macht becomes more well-rounded like Solitar after learning some human magic from her, further enhancing his threat level. Despite her power, Solitar accepts her defeat gracefully. Rather than begging for her life or despairing, she is fascinated by her demise and by Frieren, who managed to snipe her. Even though she believes demons and humans are fundamentally opposed, she dedicates significant time to studying human ways and seems genuinely impressed by their spirit and advancements in magic theory. Solitar's abilities include materializing numerous swords in the air to attack her targets, but her true signature spell is Mana Strike, which blasts opponents with pure, concentrated cannons of mana. Her slim frame hides her remarkable endurance, amplified by her unmatched mana control. This proves to be a decisive factor in her battle with Frieren, where their offensive strength and mana capacity are similar, but Frieren cannot withstand hits as Solitar does. Additionally, she is fast and powerful enough to toy with Frieren and Stark together, demonstrating prowess in close, long, and mid-range combat. As a demon, Solitar is naturally deceptive, constantly trying to mislead her opponents with words. Even Frieren, experienced in dealing with demons, finds herself affected by Solitar's lies despite her efforts to counter them. The name Solitar, meaning solitary in German, fits her character as a reclusive sorceress unknown to humanity. Although Solitar perishes in the El Dorado arc, it's revealed in later chapters that the hero party had previously encountered her, though she had successfully concealed her identity and appearance. She assisted Grausam in attempting to capture Frieren's memories and then saved him when their plan failed, necessitating a retreat. Solitar and Macht are some of the best anime villains and characters I've seen in recent years, and they both appeared in a single arc. I'm calling it early. When the El Dorado arc is animated and airs a few years from now, it will be one of the greatest moments in anime history. A big part of that will be due to Macht and Solitar. Zart, the Lingering Shadow. Zart served as a subordinate of Miraculous Grausam. He was assigned the task of observing the goddess of creation's monument at the Kino mountain pass during the 7th year of the hero party's journey. When the present-day Frieren touches the goddess monument and travels 84 years into the past, to the time when she first encountered the monument with the hero party, Zart detects the space-time interference and soon after engages the hero party in battle. His signature ability is spatial transference magic, which allows him to transfer himself, objects, and other people through space in a manner akin to teleportation. This magic requires direct contact with the target. Zart typically employs this power to teleport his opponents high into the sky, causing them to fall to their deaths. The full extent of his magic's capabilities is unclear, but he can teleport individuals, such as Frieren, to a height that would take 60 seconds to fall from and can lift a massive landmass hundreds of meters into the air by touching a cliff. Zart poses a significant threat to Himmel's party due to his ability to teleport both himself and others, providing him with robust defensive and offensive capabilities. Approaching him is hazardous, as he can teleport someone to a great height with just a touch. However, Frieren's extensive battle experience makes the fight against him less challenging. Her timely and continuous attacks pressure Zart. When he attempts to drop a giant rock on the hero party, Frieren quickly turns the rock into rubble and then eliminates Zart with Zaltrak to prevent him from reporting back to his master. In the present day, Zart's method of killing would be ineffective against mages who have mastered flight. If Frieren had not been concerned about revealing future information, she could have dispatched Zart swiftly. Being a harmless villain to Frieren perfectly aligns with the German translation of his name that means delicate or gentle. Tot, Saint of the End. Tot, while not a powerful fighter, she possesses the ability to cast a world-ending curse, setting her apart from her peers. Her ominous title is a clear indication of her capabilities. In Chapter 117, Tot casually discusses having cast a curse that will doom the world in the future, a revelation that seems to be of little concern to her fellow demons. This conversation appears as casual banter, underscoring her nonchalant attitude towards the catastrophic potential of her actions. Frieren highlights Tot's importance in a flashback in Chapter 95, where she informs Fern about the great demons, including Tot, whose names Fern needs to memorize. Interestingly, Tot's name can be Romanized as either Tot or Todd, translating to dead and death in German, respectively. This is fitting, given her role in casting a spell predicted to end the world within a century. She shows a distinct disinterest in the collective goals of the demon race, quickly abandoning her group when she deems the task assigned too burdensome. Declaring her indifference to the victory or survival of demonkind, she expresses her preference for prioritizing her own interest in survival. Her curse is only about 30% ready, so her strategy is to remain inconspicuous until then, biding her time as her catastrophic spell reaches fruition. Rivale, the Bloodstained God of War. Rivale, known as the Bloodstained, or the Bloody God of War, is a fearsome great demon and warrior who, along with Tot, Solitar, and Grausam, was tasked with taking out Frieren. As a general in the Great Demon King's army, Rivale is celebrated as the most powerful warrior among demons. He primarily engages in barehanded combat, but can also conjure up weapons to match his opponent's arms, in a fashion similar to what we see with Linie. Unlike Grausam and Solitar, who see themselves as cowards, Rivale is a fearless frontline fighter, eager to be in the thick of battle. This is exemplified when he confronts Aizen, known as mankind's strongest warrior, during an attack on Himmel's party. True to his title, Rivale is thrilled to fight Aizen, demonstrating his status as the epitome of strength among demons. Rivale's approach to warfare is straightforward, preferring physical confrontation over complex strategies, and he often leaves the latter to the so-called younger demons. His name, meaning rival in German, signifies his role as the demon counterpart to Aizen. In Chapter 117, Rivale surprises Himmel's party with an attack. Despite being a demon, Rivale follows his own code of honor. After Aizen blocks his fist, the first warrior to do so in a century, Rivale politely introduces himself and chooses to battle with an axe, respecting Aizen's preference for this weapon. Rivale's strength is not just for show. He withstands an axe straight to the face from a prime Aizen and manages to injure the sturdy dwarf. Although their legendary battle remains inconclusive, Rivale is undoubtedly on par with Aizen in terms of combat prowess. Rivale is likely still alive, as shown in a flashback in Chapter 26. He looks to be the demon responsible for attacking and destroying Stark's village of warriors. Although this is yet to be officially confirmed, anyone with a working eye can see the uncanny resemblance. Interestingly, Rivale refers to himself as an old man, and he appears noticeably older than Grausam and Solitar, suggesting he may be 1,000 years old. Frieren also mentions him to Fern in a flashback in Chapter 95, highlighting his importance among the great demons Fern needs to remember. It just sucks that here remains a lingering question about who is the strongest between Rivale and Aizen. We'll never know as Aizen is now too old to fight. It seems likely that this unanswered question will fall to Stark, who may face Rivale in the future to avenge his village and brother. Grausam, the Miraculous. Grausam, also known as the Miraculous, is one of the 7 Sages of Destruction. He is a master of mental or hypnosis magic, capable of casting powerful illusions that trap foes in their minds and perfectly conceal his presence. First appearing in Chapter 63 as Frieren recounts the hero of the South's last stand against all 7 Sages of Destruction and Schlacht. Grausam's first proper appearance is in Chapter 89. He played a crucial role in wiping Macht's memories of the 7 Sages' battle with the hero of the South, acting on Schlacht's instructions. Grausam's spell, Ansahel, or Spell to Guide to Paradise, can induce sleep and trap targets in their ideal dreams, even unearthing long-forgotten desires. He hypnotized Himmel with an image of Frieren in a wedding dress, about to be his bride. His specialty in pure illusion technique is so advanced that even his fellow demons can't distinguish his illusions from reality, and it's implied the appearance he adopts isn't his real one. Grausam's name, meaning gruesome or cruel in German, reflects his ability to cruelly trap others in illusions of their deepest hopes and dreams. Grausam can be stealthy too, as he could evade Frieren and the hero party's detection even when close by, as seen in Chapter 117. He is considered Macht's worst matchup due to his expertise in illusory and mental magic. This specialty also allows him to remove and steal memories from others. Frieren observes that the illusions created by Grausam feel undeniably real, to the extent that her 5 senses, memories, and mana detection are all fully convinced. This makes it impossible for her to counter his magic, a situation she attributes to her reliance on mana detection as a mage. However, the experience is different for someone like Himmel, who relies on sharpened senses rather than mana detection. This insight leads to the conclusion that Grausam poses a significant threat to nearly any mage, a fact acknowledged by other powerful mages like Macht, Solitar, and Frieren. Notably, Hyder's divine protection was so robust that it allowed him to repel Grausam's curse, marking the first time a priest could withstand such a spell. This provided Himmel with the opportunity to recuperate and engage Grausam in combat, showcasing Hyder's vital role. As I explained in an earlier video discussing the most powerful characters in the story, The narrative follows a sort of rock-paper-scissors model. This framework allows the hero party to overcome some of the most broken abilities possessed by the great demons. In the latest chapter, it's revealed that Grausam survived his encounter with the hero party. Previously, it was widely believed he had died, as the story implied heavily on that, and even the wiki listed his status as deceased. This information will likely need updating soon. It's still uncertain whether the hero party fought him again to finish him off, but it's more than likely that he is still alive and probably still hiding. As Solitar mentioned in an earlier chapter that he can survive any era with his abilities and easily slip past human observation, there's a possibility that we may have been seeing him for a long time throughout the journey, and he is just hiding in plain sight. Man, that would be crazy. If that happens, please come back to this video. The Omniscient Schlacht. Schlacht was the Demon King's right-hand man, famed for his powerful magic that allowed him to see far into the future. He reportedly died in a battle against the hero of the South. Due to his foresight, Schlacht meticulously planned for decades to ensure the survival of demonkind. This is highlighted in the El Dorado arc, where it's revealed that he ordered the erasure of Macht's memory of the hero of the South's last stand against all sages of destruction, knowing that Frieren would eventually access Macht's memories. Fully aware of his impending death, Schlacht faced the hero of the South, content with his fate, as he believed the confrontation was part of a contingency plan for the demon race's survival should the Demon King fall. The specifics of this plan remains unknown to all of us. One thing that I personally really liked about him is that although he already knows he will be facing certain death in the upcoming battle, he still replied to Macht, "It is something that I won't know about until I've tried." This line made me appreciate his character and the demons in this story even more. He still thought that the future is not set in stone, and he can still take action and hope for a better future for him and their race. This event is a very human moment that really highlights the complexities and depth of the demons in the manga. Schlacht can be seen as an evil counterpart to the hero of the South, as both had the ability to foresee the future and use this knowledge to fight for their kind's survival. So you can't convince me in thinking that I placed him too high on my power ranking video, even putting him above Macht, since he possesses the same ability as the legendary hero of the South. Future Sight is especially OP in this story, maybe even more so than in other series. The hero of the South even mentioned in his own words that the reason why he is the strongest of all mankind is because he can see the future. Anyway, Schlacht is known to be dead in the present, as he was said to be killed in battle by the hero of the South. But given what we learned in the case with Grausam, where it was made known in stories that Grausam died in his battle with the hero party, the wiki even says it as well, but in reality, he survived that battle and can possibly be living among humans using his mental magic as foreshadowed by Solitar. That's why I can't say for sure that Schlacht is really dead. The Great Demon King. The Great Demon King was the leader of the demon army and the primary target of the hero party's 10-year quest. He waged war against the human kingdoms from his castle in Endy for thousands of years before being defeated by Frieren, Himmel, Hyder, and Eisen. Despite his significant role in the world, details about him are scarce. Demons are typically solitary and devoid of human emotion, yet he commanded loyalty and maintained order among all demonkind. There is limited information about his abilities, but considering his command over powerful beings like the Seven Sages of Destruction and other great demons like Solitar and the god of war Rivale, then add to that the discussions by Siri and Flam about the impossibility of them defeating him, it's likely he possessed a unique and powerful signature spell. My theory is that his spell could overwhelm anyone without a pure heart or those who view peace as unattainable, explaining why the pure-hearted Himmel and his party were able to defeat him. Another theory suggests his defeat was part of a larger scheme that will unfold in the future, but all these remain speculative. It has been revealed that the Demon King was an eccentric figure, much like Macht and Solitar, displaying curiosity about other beings. He introduced Solitar to the concept of convergent evolution, indicating his interest in understanding the world around him. Like Macht, the Demon King sought coexistence between humans and demons. However, his approach involved mass killings of humans to comprehend their mindset, significantly diminishing mankind's influence and population by a third. Ultimately, the Great Demon King remains a figure shrouded in mystery, poised as one of the major enigmas the manga is gradually unveiling. I hope you find this video helpful, as I've put a lot of time and effort into making it. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe. See you in the next one.